And now, your Storm Team 18 forecast. Weather from where you live.
All right, once again, getting one last look at the radar. You can see the rainfall pretty much coming to an end for much of our viewing area as this system is completely falling apart for now. But looking at the big view, you can see not much behind the system, but we are currently underneath this pattern, which we call the Ring of Fire, which we constantly see these complexes of storms riding along the edge of what we call the heat dome. And unfortunately, any area that gets caught within the Ring of Fire usually sees storms, and especially with these ridges of storms riding along the edge of this heat dome, we typically can see some strong storms from it, which today will be no exception, with again another round of some strong storms possible later on this evening and going into very early Tuesday morning. But for today though, looking at lots of sunshine after those early morning storms with temperatures reaching the low 90s. But look at those heat index values reaching the low 100s, as unfortunately with the higher dew points today, that will lead to those heat index values being quite high, unfortunately. So if you're going to be outside today, make sure you're drinking enough water, and also make sure you're putting on sunscreen, especially with the very strong UV sun rays later on today. And also again, looking at those steamy conditions continuing throughout the course of the evening with that southwest wind coming in by the end of the day as well. But then watching out for that severe threat mainly after sunset later as we get closer to the arrival of that next system. But overall for today, temperatures ranging from 89 degrees to 93, so a hot, steamy afternoon for your Monday. For tomorrow, slightly cooler, but still a chance for some storms during the afternoon as that cold front will be coming in here and dropping those temperatures for the rest of the week. But back to that severe weather threat, unfortunately, we do have some significant weather to talk about, especially this evening and tonight with level 3 enhanced risk for severe weather, meaning that there's a higher threat for severe weather for a good chunk of the area, with a slightly lesser threat for severe weather for eastern counties. But still, albeit everyone's going to see something from tonight's storms. But for tomorrow, looking at a lot lesser threat, just threats for some large hail and for some damaging winds. But back to today, with today's severe threat, it won't necessarily be hail that we'll be watching out for, as right now that risk looks to be pretty low. It will be the damaging wind threat, as unfortunately a good chunk of the area is underneath this red hatched risk for damaging winds, meaning that we could see some significant damaging wind reports possible, especially with this line of storms coming in here later on this evening and into tonight. With this lower threat the farther east you go, but still watching out for potential for some strong storms again later on this evening and into tonight. But looking at the clock, 10 a.m. this morning, still a spot shower through about then. But then by the afternoon, looking at plenty of sunshine for the viewing area. But watch what happens as we get closer towards 8 p.m. It's still nice and dry here, but looking out toward northwest, the developing line of storms that I did mention earlier will be coming in pretty fast. But notice the clock, 11 p.m. Noticing how the storm is starting to bow out a little bit, as this is actually what we call a bow echo, as it starts to make its way into our area. And by then, looking at the strong winds as the system pulls into our area, it looks to be around midnight tonight that line of storms finally arriving in our viewing area. And by 1:30, it's already off to the east, as this thing will be moving pretty fast. But then by late Tuesday morning, actually 3:30 Tuesday morning, is pretty much all gone and out of here. And then it's nice and dry for most of Tuesday before maybe a late day storm possible along that cold front, as that's humidity begins to drop behind that front, especially for Wednesday and for Thursday. Look at that, 76 on Thursday, and then nice and cool for the rest of next week, 81 on Sunday, and then temperatures still in the mid 80s.
Thank you very much.